Real quick, I want to talk about what the MCU is doing with their movie. So if you're a Marvel fan, you know how Marvel does their crossover, their big events, right, in the comics, right? Well, if you don't, I'm going to let you know. What they do most times, DC does this too, but Marvel does it mostly, for real, is they'll have a big event, right? And then that event will cross over to all the other comics that are out right now. Like, for example, King in Black just came out recently, right? And King in Black, like, that expanded basically to most of the comics in the Marvel universe. Like, basically, like, the comics would be on their own storyline, but everybody would basically take a break to deal with this big threat. And that's where you have, like, tie-in comics and all that, right? So, I think that's what MCU is doing now. You feel me? So, like, you know, back in the other phases, 1, 2, 3, the MCU phases, you feel me? Basically going through all the Thanos stuff. All those were still like their own stories. They only had like a small element of like the Thanos stuff. And that's basically like the Infinity Stones and all that, right? But this time it seems like the Multiverse of Madness is kind of like this arc for the movies, I guess you call it. I don't know what you call it for movies, but in comics we call it an arc or storyline. So basically for this joint, I think the Multiverse of Madness is the big event, and all the shows and movies will basically be dealing with that in a way. Maybe not Shang-Chi, but most of them. Because so far, we've had WandaVision, we've had Loki, and now we're throwing Spider-Man into the mix, you feel me? So basically, like, this is all seems like it's going to be a Doctor Strange storyline, kind of, sort of, that kind of expands to other characters, movies, and shows, you feel me? So I like it for the movies. In comics lately, I haven't liked it so much because, like, you'll be reading a certain character in Marvel and you'll be loving it, and then out of nowhere, you got to take a break for 3 comics because he got to have a small tie-in with some big event going on that don't even really got nothing to do with him. So I hate that in the comics, but in this movies and TV shows, I think that's gonna definitely work for Marvel, and I think that's smart if that's what they're doing. I like that. I like that, taking ideas from comics and adding into this live action universe. That's dope. So what y'all think about that? You think they doing that? You think they not doing that? You think I'm overthinking it? What's good?